it's Lisa from I Dream in Soap. Welcome to my channel and thanks for dropping by. Now, for today's soap, we are doing another soap challenge soap, and this month we're dealing with the teardrop technique. Now, the audio didn't record in this video, that's why you've got me doing a voiceover, so ignore what's going on with my hands on the screen. So, for the teardrop technique, in the winners category, which is what I'm in, we have to do a teardrop, but we also have to put a frame around the edge of our soap. So we'll look at how I'm going to do that later. One of the key things that's really important when we're doing this teardrop technique is that we have to keep our soap batter really fluid. So I've got everything pre-dispersed, and the colours that I'm using are some activated charcoal, some titanium dioxide, and then also some neon purple and some neon pink. And my neon colours, I keep those pre-dispersed as well because they're a bit of a pain to actually disperse when you want to use them. Okay, so those are the colours that I've got. For my fragrance, I'm using Black Plum and Rhubarb from Candle Shack in the UK, and that's a lovely fragrance. It's quite slow moving. In fact, it's very slow moving. It doesn't decelerate your trace, but it really doesn't accelerate it too much. As I said, everything needs to be kept really fluid. So I've got my oils and my lye, and I've got them down to a nice low temperature. I think they're just above 80 degrees Fahrenheit. I really want them in the low 80s because I need to keep everything really smooth. So I'm just going to mix those together. And as I blend them, I'm only going to blend them a tiny amount. I probably won't even take them to an emulsion. I just want to make sure everything is thoroughly mixed. What you can't risk to do with this soap or this technique is you can't risk having your batter thicken up, because it's the movement of the soap that actually makes that teardrop happen. Okay, so I've got my soap sort of barely mixed together, and I'm just going to split it out. Now what I'm going to do, and I'm literally just following what we've been told in the soap challenge tutorial, is I'm going to take my soap and I'm going to take 1/4 of the soap and use that for my teardrop. So I'm just going to pour out those bits, and again I'm just going to keep mixing and mixing because I know my batter may not even be emulsified yet and I don't want it to be splitting apart. Let's get those colours mixed into our soap. So I'm going to have the neon purple as one colour, the neon pink as another colour, and then the activated charcoal as the third colour in the teardrop. Where I'm going to be using my titanium dioxide is that when I do my outside of my soap for my teardrop element, I'm going to add the neon pink, but I'm just going to lighten that down because I don't want it to be a really shouty background. I want it to be quite a muted pink. So let's get those all mixed up. I think everything's sort of nearly ready. It's still very fluid, so I want to just add my fragrance oil, obviously. Now, this is all going to be mixed in together in this swirl effectively, but I'm just quite conscious that I don't want anything to accelerate more than another if possible, so I'm going to try and be careful with how I split this fragrance oil out. Okay, now for my teardrop I'm going to use some little squeeze bottles, so I'm going to get these loaded up now. These tiny weeny squeeze bottles, I use them quite a lot. They're just bottles I've used from hair dye kits. So I clean them out thoroughly and I use those. And they're great because they're nice small size. They've actually got a nice long nozzle on them. Okay, now I do think this is still a tiny weeny bit too thin. It is literally very watery, because what I don't want to do is I don't want to end up having these all mixing together. So I'm just going to leave it just for a couple more minutes and then I'll come back when I'm ready to start pouring. Right, I'm going to start giving this a go. It still may be a bit fluid. I'm just going to keep an eye on it. So what I've done is, with my base, I've got a third of it in this jug, and then I've poured the other bits. I've got a little bit left over so I can top these up into some squeeze bottles. So first thing I'm going to do is just get this base in. Now, I'm not going to make mine come all the way to the top. It's just I want to use this mould because I need to then put it in a frame so I can make a frame in my other mould that I've got like this. So it's not going to come up to the top. It's going to come sort of 2/3 of the way up. So I'm deliberately not pouring all the way to the top. Okay, so I'm going to now see if I can start to get my teardrop in. Just give these a shake. And the idea is we don't want this to be breaking through if we can help it.
One step forward and another back. I would never try to fool you. I'm one heartbeat away from going mad. Girl, when you're looking like that.
And this is going to be a technique that takes a lot of patience.
Yeah, got me, baby. Got me hooked on you once again. Girl, I need you. How many times do I want you? 'Cause we could be so complete. Baby, I'll never want anyone new. I was on the bed and you undressed. Baby, when I pulled you in and felt your breath, then I knew the girl I need you. You're smiling like that, I could never resist it. Smiling like that, I could never resist it. Smiling like that, I could never resist it. Every moment is another chance. Loving you is all I wanted. I'm wide open for a love affair. Girl, when you're looking like that. Closer, closer, I'ma get closer to you. Yeah, got me, baby. Got me hooked on you once again. Damn. Girl, I need you. How many times do I want you? 'Cause we could be so complete. Baby, I'll never want anyone new. I was on the bed and you undressed. Baby, when I pulled you in.
Okay, so I need to pour this pink down the sides, but I'm using these, I don't know if they're going to work, the squeeze bottles, to just try and make sure that I can pour it down the sides as much as possible.
Can I tell you what's been on my mind? Sick and tired of the 9 to 5 in the city life. Hey darling, we could get out of town, see the beautiful world around, wanna see it now. Pack our bags and get in that car, leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday. Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand.
Okay, I'm going to leave it like that. I don't know if you noticed, but partway through my glove, I obviously caught it on something, it managed to split. So I then tried to change it, but you know when your hand is a bit damp, you know, where you sweat in your gloves, I just couldn't get another glove on. So I just made sure I cleaned my bottle on the outside really well, and then just carried on with it and didn't get any soap on my hand. Not ideal, I know, but that's a situation that I had. Right, so I'm going to very carefully just clean off the edge here. Now I've got to, because I'm in the winners category, I've got to add a frame all the way around this soap. So therefore, there's no point me doing a top on it, because I've got to put something else on this soap anyway. Right, so that's still really fluid, so I'm going to leave that for now. Let that stiffen up a little bit, and then I'm going to put it into C-Pop overnight. And then I'm going to start doing some work on my frame. I'm going to start making my frame now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some soap. As you can see, I've got something in there. I'll explain that in a minute. I'll make a thin layer of soap, and then I'm going to slice pieces off so I can turn that into a frame. So what I've done with this is, I didn't put all this on the video, is I made another layer of soap, and then what I did with that layer of soap is I've just got some of these little sort of cutters, teardrop cutters in various sizes. So with that soap, you can see I just cut out some pieces of soap in a teardrop shape, and I've just put a large one at the bottom and then a smaller one at the top, and I've tried to lay them out so that they're going to line up with bars of soap, so I get that little design. So what I want is, on the sides of my soap, I want to have sort of the drops down the sides of the soap. I'm not going to have them on the top and the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour in here. Some of it's going to cover up these drops, and then I'm going to have some more on the top without drops in, so hopefully I can get all the layers that I need to make the frame. Not sure if that made sense or not. And what I've done with those is I've put them in the mould. I made the mould a little bit wet, and I've put them in the mould, and I've left this mould to dry off. So I'm hoping that those drops are going to stay in place. If they end up moving, then I may just muddle them all up just to make them random so they don't look out of place. So I'm hoping they're going to stay in place. Okay, I'm going to use this to hopefully get around these little teardrop shapes. And I really don't want them to move if I can possibly help it. Okay, so what I'm trying to achieve is that I can slice off 2 thin layers that are going to have drops in, and they're going to go up the side of my soap. And then I want to have 2 layers for the top and the bottom, which are just going to be plain. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. I think it's worked okay. So again, I'm going to put this into C-Pop. And then what we'll do tomorrow is we'll hopefully unmold the teardrop and hope it's not a complete disaster. I think it's gone okay. And then we'll obviously slice this into layers and then put everything together to actually make the whole soap. Here we are the next day. So I've unmolded my teardrop, and I think it's going to be pretty good. Looking at the end, can you see that? So it looks like, not teardrop, whatever type of drop it's supposed to be. I'm pretty happy that I'm going to have a pretty good teardrop inside there. I must admit I was a bit nervous, and I almost wanted to chop it in half before I bothered with all the frame and everything, in case it was a disaster and I needed to make it again, and I didn't want to waste the frame. But certainly looking at the ends, I think I'm going to be okay. Now what I need to do is construct everything. So I've got my frame soap, and as you can see, all those little drops stayed nicely in place. And I've got my main soap. Now, oh gosh, last night I woke up just after midnight. I was in bed, woke up just after midnight, and I realised that I'd made my frame soap wrong. Literally, and this is where sort of my name I Dream in Soap came from, because I always wake up sort of having worked things out in my head. What I realised was that when I made this frame soap, I made it in the mould and I put the silicone liner in it. And to make the frame, I wanted the frame to be bigger, obviously, than this original soap. So I was, in my other mould, I was going to remove the silicone liner so I got a wider frame. And I forgot to do that. I just popped the silicone liner in, and therefore I've got a narrower frame. But that's okay, because the width of this for the blank bits are going to fit perfectly on the bottom of my soap. And then what I want to do is I'm going to drop the other frame down the side, and I'm going to do this, and then on top of the plain bit I'm just going to make another layer And I'm just going to do a wavy line so it looks like it's deliberate rather than trying to join two pieces together. So hopefully that'll all make sense. Right, so what I do need to do with this is I do need to trim this down slightly because I want to actually make it sort of like a curvy shape inside, sort of like all sort of wiggly lines all the way around. I don't want it to be a square block, so I'm going to trim it down. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is going to work on shaping out this soap. So I just want it to be sort of wavy. Now I've got a few things. I've got some palette knives to sort of, because I don't really know what I want to do with my indentations. I quite like the palette knife there, that's quite good. And then what I also want to do is make my frame pieces. So I'm just going to slice pieces of this off. Yay! That's going to look cute on the outside, isn't it? Well, I think so anyway. So I need 2 of these. There's 2 bits of my frame. That's really cute, isn't it? And all those little dots stayed where I needed them to. Let's just think, I'm going to go for another one just because I need to get through these little drops and start getting onto the just plain colour. Yeah, look, I'm there now, so that's perfect. So I've got 1 bit. I can do something with that. That'll make some cute little sample soaps. Right, so now I want to make my other frames. So there's the 2 I need for the top and the bottom. And then remember my emergency bit of frame that I need to make up for my error. I just need 1 more strip of this. Okay, so what I'm now going to do is I've marked sort of where the bars should go, and I marked out carefully how this should lay against the bars. So I'm just going to put a tiny bit of distilled water on here. So I'm hoping that's going to be lined up pretty well. So what I'm now going to do, because I don't want this line to just be seen very easily, because I think if I just try and join this to this, gonna look kind of ugly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go along and just sort of make this layer a little bit more sort of wobbly almost, and I'm going to do that by just taking out little nibbles. So this join is actually going to be a nice little design feature. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like. I'm hoping it looks a little bit like clouds, but obviously it could just be a wobbly line. But that's great. So I'm going to just repeat that for the other side, then I'll come back when that's done. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to try and put my soap in, and I've just got some little shims because I need to lift it off the bottom, so these end bits will get trimmed off anyway. And then I want to take my soap, which I've now made a jolly shape, and pop that in the middle. Okay, so I've managed to get that all in. Little shims at the end just because that embed in the middle, the main soap isn't all the way along. So now I just need to mix up the soap that's going to go for the inside frame, as it were. So here I've just got all my oils that I need, and I've got some Purple Heart mica in there. Okay, then I just need to get this gently poured in, and I've got to hope that it goes underneath my shape as well. Okay, that's cool. I've got no leakage on the outside. It looks quite cute. Right, I'm going to leave that to set up a little bit, just a tad, because then I want to put my final piece on the top. Okay, I'm going to try and put this top on. I may need to pull back a little bit because it may be too early, but let's just try. Okay, I think that's going to be alright. So I'm just going to level that up. Okay, I've got some excess squeezing out the side there. That's fine, because I want the top to be level. Right, so I think I'm done with that. A little bit scruffy at the end, but that's okay because that bit's going to be chopped off. So I'm just going to put this aside now. It's all nice and level, and then we can have a look at how that's come out tomorrow. Here we are with our soap the next day. So let's get this cut, shall we? Okay, I'm interested to see what we've got inside because I haven't seen this drop yet. Oh, that's come out really well. Look at that. Oh, I really like that. Oh, look at my drop. Gosh, I'm really pleased with that. Goodness me. Oh, look. Oh, I really like that. I was a little bit hesitant about, because I planned this from the start. You know, I told you that I mucked up the outside in that I didn't make these outside bits long enough. And I was in and out, you know, I called Paul and was sort of like, help me, make a decision about whether to just join pink here. Because I knew that if I did this little sort of wobbly bit on the side here, which I really like actually, I knew it would show through on the front. But I like that. I think it's a slightly more unusual frame. But oh, I'm so pleased with that drop. Look at that. I've never done that before. And I just followed Amy's instructions to the letter and just made sure that I did, oh, hang on. Made sure that I did everything that she said. And, oh gosh, I'm so pleased. What is going on with this sun? Hang on a minute, sorry. Right. I'm just so pleased with how that drop's come out. Whoa. Maybe the soap's a little bit over the top, but then again, as I said, for the winners category, we had to do a drop and we had to put a frame around our soap. Gosh, I love them all. The drop's slightly different in each one, so I'm going to have difficulty trying to choose which one. See, this one, the drop, I think is a little bit sort of wonky, a little bit more abstract. Oh, I really like them. Look at this skinny drop. Oh, I kind of like that too. Oh goodness me, I'm going to have trouble picking which ones I want in the challenge, aren't I? Look at that. Because that one's quite fat, which is quite funny, isn't it? Next to, look how skinny it is on the other side. Fat, and then it's got this one, which is a little more bulbous on the bottom, but slightly wonky off to the side. This one is sort of like your perfect central drop. I really like them. I really enjoyed this challenge. I haven't done this before, as I said. So I definitely think if you're one of these people who are a little bit stuck in your soaping, I know I'm always banging on about the Soap Challenge Club and how great it is, but it just pushes you to try new techniques and gives you good instruction and everything on how to do them, and can only help you improve your soaping skills. So I really would recommend, if you, as I say, you are a little bit stuck or just want a challenge, then do give the Soap Challenge Club a go. And to finish off, here's a final photo of the soap. I really enjoyed this challenge, and to be quite honest, I'm really happy with the little error that I made on that outside pink frame, because I really love the little purple bit that goes through to the outside. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video and that you like the soap. If you have, it would be great if you gave me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see what I'm making in the future, why not subscribe to my channel? Thanks for watching, everyone. Happy soaping!